Hey guys, HuShang here. Welcome to another Starcraft 2 lesson. I've got a banger for you guys today. It's a game against Skytoss, which I know a lot of you guys absolutely hate playing against. And so in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to smash it. Alright, so in this video, I have a game against a Silver 1 Protoss, which is about the highest Protoss I can defeat playing Skytoss. Although I've been practicing a lot, so I'm thinking maybe next week I'll have a gold Protoss game to show you guys. Okay, so I'm going for fast expand. I'm just kidding, by the way, in case one of you guys is new. This is a low GM Protoss player. And let's fast forward to his tech choice. Because if you're going to play against Skytoss, you kind of need to get into a good setup. You're going to need to be reacting well to his initial Stargate tech before you react to his Skytoss play. Alright, so a couple ways you can get the scouting info. We're not going to stay on this for too long, but you can do a Overlord scout. So you can just grab this and run it through their base. And usually they'll hide their Stargate here, and you should be able to get that every time. Although if they make a Stalker, they're going to kill your Overlord. So you might lose it, but it's not a big deal. It's more important to get the Stargate Scout. Alternatively, though, you can run the first set of Zerglings in, and this usually works because Protoss also needs to scout, so they're going to send their adept across the map, and so you can just take your lings and just like run through his base, basically. Like, seems silly, but you can just run right through. And if they don't send their adept across, then it's not too great for them either, because they also need to be getting scouting info. And so if they do that, you're blind, but they're also blind as well. Okay, so the adept comes through, a little bit annoying. And I think that's it for the opening. I guess what you want to be doing against Stargate openings specifically is you just want to be maximizing your minerals. This is kind of true with Zerg against all strategies, but it's especially true against Stargate play. So yeah, make sure you saturate this base before you even start mining gas again. And then, since we know it's Stargate, you could do the pro response, which is basically just to make queens only and almost no spore crawlers. But I think it's a bit easier for, pretty much everybody to just make the spores. So make sure you start those at a reasonable time for oracles, which is 3:30. You'll notice here that I'm not starting those at 3:30. The reason for that is because I actually saw his Void Ray, and so I was able to cut corners a little bit. But just get them at 3:30, I would say. You don't need to look for specifically the Void Ray or Oracle starting. If you are, sub GM, just keep it simple. Stargate, make spore crawlers at 3:30 every game, no matter what. Easy peasy. Now, you notice my lings over here. This is also a critical component. We haven't really noticed it's Skytoss yet, right? Like, there's tons of possibilities here. And the first possibility that's really scary is some sort of, Void Ray into Mass Adept or Charge Lot all in, right? Like a 2-base setup where they're not really macroing, they're just getting the Stargate to hide their intentions, their nefarious intentions. So, to deal with this, we need to have these lings kind of running around and picking up some more info, right? So we need to see that this third base is going down. I usually try and look for that when the Zergling speed finishes. Protoss will, take that at like 3:45, 4 minutes. If it's later than that, then they're probably getting some buildings in their main, and they're up to no good. So try and pick up on this. And then on our end, against Stargate, the popular thing to do right now is to go for a really fast melee upgrade. So when I see the Stargate build, I'm like, okay, boom, I'm getting an Evo pretty soon. And the reason this is so strong is because basically the lings are good against anything that they can do early game, right? And we can get this faster upgrade instead of something like roaches or banelings. So yeah, this is very good. It's good against the Blink Stalker styles, which are super popular, and it's really good against the fast Skytoss builds. So we're going to go for that. And if we look at my gas income, you can see that I'm stretching it even further than I initially said. And the reason for this is basically just because we saw this fast third. So now we know that we're going at least into the mid game, potentially the late game. There's no all-ins coming for us. There's no reason to mine gas, right? Because what are we going to do with that gas? We're going to, you know, rush really fast hydras or roaches? No, we don't need any of those things. We might as well go for a lot of drones and bases and queens and just get super greedy. Okay, so now we're coming up to the moment where I'm actually going to start figuring out that he's playing Skytoss. Couple clues over here. First off, we see a forge. They will get a forge with all ground styles as well, so that's not like a massive clue. But they are going to build a lot of cannons at their third if they're playing Skytoss. So you can pick up on that. Another clue is that he's going for the second Void Ray. So he's starting to make more Void Rays than you would want with the ground style. Like, you can do that, but it's not very good. So at this level, if you see this, you're really thinking, okay, he's probably going Skytoss. Now he's building the third Void Ray, and we also see a Robo Bay. So at this point, there's enough info that I already realize he's going to be playing a very tech-heavy, you know, defensive tier 3 style where he's not going to be attacking us, and he's going to be just teching really fast to the best units. And part of that is going Skytoss. Part of that's going to be like a Colossus or Disruptor. But there are some pros and cons to this style. Like, I think a lot of people look at this and be like, okay, our Protoss is just making the best units. He's realized that he doesn't need to make zealots and he can just make the best units with no consequences. But obviously that's not true. In a strategy game, there's always going to be pros and cons of our opponent's style. And so in this setting, you got to be realizing what the cons are and how we can punish that. So let's imagine instead of these buildings, he got like 4 gateways and a Twilight Council, right? In that situation, he would have, you know, not very good units in the mid game or the late game, but he would be able to attack us very quickly, right? And so in that situation, we're going to need a lot of defense. But in this situation, he can't attack us. Like, he can attack us, but it's not like they're scary attacks. He's got 2 Void Rays, right? So we can make some queens for that, but he can't, like, try and kill us. So in order to take advantage of this, what we're going to do is just drone like crazy. Basically an extension of our early game versus Stargate. So I see this, and I just hold down the D key. And then on top of that, I'm going to make some extra queens, I believe. Actually, I might not even make extra queens. We might be able to just get away without those. But if you're really worried about the Void Rays, you can definitely add some more queens. And some Spore Crawlers, of course. And that should keep you really safe. Another thing that you want to know is that you don't need to rush for some sort of unit to deal with the Void Rays. Like, our queens are kind of sufficient for quite a while, especially if you make more of them. So you don't need to be in this situation here and be thinking, oh crap, he made 1 Void Ray, I need to get Corruptors now. That's the wrong approach. So what you want to do instead is be droning, keeping your tech really, really low, and just defending with Queen Spore. And then in the meantime, you can kind of use like Ling Bane to keep your opponent back. So these Void Rays come across, and you can just defend these, like I said, with queens and keep droning if you want. But the way I wanted to play against it this game, which I think is very instructive, is to just counterattack him with Ling Bane. Because while the Protoss opponent is attacking us over here... Oh man, I didn't cancel. That's super sloppy. But while the Protoss opponent is attacking us over here, we can set up some counterattacks. And it's actually really hard for Protoss to deal with these, because this is like his whole army. He doesn't have anything else other than these Void Rays. And so there's nothing really defending his base besides like a couple cannons. So I just run my Banes into his mineral line. And, you know, because he's focused on the Void Rays harassing us, we can get some really nice damage in. So this is what I mean when I say Ling Bane counters Skytoss. It's not what you would think, because the Ling Bane obviously can't hit the Skytoss units, but you can really put a lot of pressure on their economy, and I'm going to be doing that throughout the whole game. That's basically how I counter this setup, is just kill their economy with Ling Bane, and then once their economy is destroyed, then I can make, you know, the units that actually hit his stuff. But my style has never really been to throw one little jab, get an advantage and then slowly tech up and play a macro game. I'm looking for like the second jab here and then maybe like a haymaker. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go for some Modalisks. And try to get some more harass going on. So basically, we could go Corruptor, hit him straight up at the front. But if we go Mutalisks and we put them in the back, suddenly we start abusing Protoss by forcing them to split up their army. And every Protoss knows that the real skill comes when you gotta split up your army against an aggressive opponent. So if you want to really put Protoss players to the test, it's all about making them defend multiple locations. That is actually the hardest thing to do with Protoss. So we're gonna get the Mutalisks coming in here at the top, and we can trade these out. I mean, like, if you continue making Mutalisks, it's not that strong because Protoss has, you know, a lot of Stargates when they're playing this air toss style. But if we just come in here, you know, trade them for a lot of workers and kind of force Protoss to be at home, they're going to pay for themselves because we can use this tempo to make a lot of drones. So if you look at the production tab up here, I've got a ton of drones building. You might also see a Hydralisk den. That was just in case he was playing a ground transition style, which he's not. So I'm not going to be using that. So we killed a bunch of worker. We took the worker count. I'm already at an absurd amount of workers compared to him. And now we don't really need these Mutalisks, so, you know, we can fly over here, I guess, and kill more workers, but we can also just trade them out. And if we go back, looks like my harass is working so well, even I got distracted and didn't see it. So while he's dealing with these Mutalisks, we had these this group of Banelings run in, and you know, if you yeah, you can see right here, this Protoss is a 1A man. He moved all his Colossus to deal with the Mutalisk, and so our Banelings were able to just run in straight for his probe line and kill everything. And that was just too big. That was our haymaker for sure. He's basically screwed at this point. And now we can just go and progress into the Corruptors and end the game. I've also got a couple more Mutalisks, but I mean, they're just doing the same thing, picking off whatever they can, and then we'll just let them die. So upgrade-wise, if you are playing against carriers, it is much better to go for the Carapace first, because the carriers benefit from the attack upgrades. So you want to negate their attack upgrades. The carriers attack super fast, and so the armor upgrade applies more often. Same with the attack. So yeah, negating that is way more beneficial than getting the flyer attacks. And yeah, maybe another thing to keep in mind is that Corruptors are just insanely expensive, but really low supply. And so one of the main ideas this whole game, getting this high of a worker count, is so that we can actually afford to make Corruptors without breaking the bank. Like, we had a massive economy, and I'm still not even maxed on Corruptors. They're just that expensive. So that's why we need such a massive economy to trade with Protoss, and I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. Making like 60 workers and then trying to do this. And yeah, it doesn't really work, right? You need a big economy to trade against carrier Void Ray. Alright, nice little tactic here for you guys, though. We've got a lot of Lings coming in the front again with the Banes. And if you think about our money, we are spending a ton of gas on these Corruptors. And so I basically have a ton of minerals left over. So that's why I'm able to do, you know, these massive Ling Bane attacks while having the Corruptors come in as well. And the Corruptors are really good at picking off your opponent's Void Rays as they pop. And they're also really good at sniping Nexus. So if you try to come in at the front, it's kind of easy. Protoss just like keeps their units here. And they can defend the ground, they can defend the air. But as soon as you, again, start splitting up your units and hitting multiple locations, it gets really hard to split this air toss. And if you think from the Protoss perspective as well, if you were to defend these Ling Bane attacks, what would you make? You would make Zealots, right? Or you would make, you know, Archons maybe. Something that's really good against ground. But the problem is, you're playing Skytoss, so you don't have any gateways, right? Or you do, but you're just getting them into production. So you're not quite ready to deal with these Ling Bane attacks. And so that's why they're so strong, comboed with the Corruptors. Gonna use the spray on this Nexus, and I mean, it's gonna disappear almost immediately. Also, we can just pick off any units that are over here. This guy was smart and he built some cannons expecting us to do this. A lot of Protoss won't even do that. So it'll be even easier than this game. And that is basically game. I mean, he's totally screwed here. I'm just going to regroup with my Corruptors at the front. We're going to come in and target fire the Protoss units. Another thing that you guys should pick up on is, well, I actually don't think I'm going to do it in this game, but when you're attacking with the Corruptors and you come in on the carriers, if you just like snipe one and then run away, the interceptors don't have enough time to all launch. So actually a very small percentage of them are in the fight. So if you consistently do that, like snipe one unit, get out, snipe one unit, get out, it's very, very efficient. Same thing with the voids. You can like force them to overcharge, back away, and then come back in and snipe them once it's gone. And then again, your Corruptors are way more efficient. Luckily, we didn't have to do that in this game, but some nice tips for maybe a more even game against Skytoss. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like. Come join us on the Discord. Tons of people hanging out, talking Starcraft. And if you would like some coaching with myself, check out my website, HuShangCoaching.com. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.